It's important to time your company, right? It's to the waves of technology and adoption that the market is using.
I've been friends with Elias now for several years. It seems like he got his start at IBM, where I think he quickly realized maybe he didn't want to be in a big company, and then went and founded a bunch of companies, Drift being the most recent that he co-founded along with David Cancel, his co-founder. And what an amazing company it is, one of the stars in the Boston tech community and the US tech community. Elias, with that, why don't you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your company?
Myself, I'm from Nicaragua, Central America. I'm an immigrant, first generation Latino in the United States. So I have that immigrant, energy, passion, and a chip on my shoulder. I love what I've been able to accomplish in this country. And Drift is a revenue acceleration platform, and so it's really well connected to the go-to-market motion. What we realized, David and I, was that businesses need to scale, especially in a digital-first world, right? It's like, how do you engage with your prospects, with your customers? The website, in a way, it's kind of like a forgotten place. We create this website that are still like brochures, that all they do is they have a form that says contact us. So this is kind of like the era of digital selling, and we saw that as a problem, and we want companies to evolve, to be able to have conversations, to be able to respond quickly, to meet the buyer where they are, and in order to accelerate revenue.
So I think you guys made a choice that's a very popular choice today, particularly with what I would consider to be sort of infrastructure-based technology like yours, where you're sort of powering your clients' websites in a way. It was a product-led growth strategy initially. And so you started with that. Just talk about the first few years, what your go-to-market, your whole sort of company motion revolved around, and then what made you realize that you needed to add like a different set of capabilities. What happened to make you realize you needed more?
Drift was built around, we call it mega trend, right? Two mega trends. One is messaging, the other one is video. So it's important to time your company, right? It's to the waves of technology and adoption that the market is using. So we hit that really well with messaging. And what happened was that we focused on two things. We were building both the product and building a brand. Right, so my co-founder David is an incredible marketer and was obsessed with investing heavily in building Drift's brand in a very unique and differentiated way, right? And so that was that allowed us to grow fast in terms of how many people knew about Drift and how many people were coming to our website. So our inbound was relatively special, right? We were flooded with a lot of requests. So that made it easy to sell fast, to sell lots at the beginning of the journey, the first 2 years, to hit that traction that you need to take off, right? And so it was incredible to get that purely from an inbound. What happens from an inbound is that you can sell lots, but at that time, we were being more of a transactional sell, or we call it, a feature sell, right? So people would come in and says, do you have this feature? Can I do this? Can I do X? Can I do Y? And so people come in and you have a lower price. So you have lower price. That means a shorter sales cycle, feature-based. People come in and you can even do, like a sales rep's dream of just doing a one-call close, right? And it's like, boom, I got on the phone, this person is excited. It's not that much money. This is, like $5,000 a year. Boom, buy on the spot. Put your credit card. Let's go. And so that, right, at lower price, transactional, then it comes the other part that you have to do. Right? It's like, can you maintain that, right, forever, for the entire life of the company, for 10, 20 years? Second, can you have the right churn rates, right? The right net retention. And third, are you attracting the right customers? So when you go inbound, you don't control who comes. And so that's what happens, is that you then start struggling on how to keep up with the quality of the leads, the fit of the lead, right, of the customer. And so it becomes a scale issue of how do you do that, right? And so you either are able to create an entirely product-led, adoption, company, or you start evolving and saying, like, who should we be selling to? What is the right price? And what is the right process to do it? And that's kind of where we made the shift, because we felt like in order to grow to the revenues at the pace that we had, price had to go up because the customers were getting so much value out of the product.
You also happen to have some inbound customers that turned out to be really great, global 1,000 enterprise customers that came to you initially, which I think sort of turned on the bright light saying, hey, maybe we have something here that's creating value for bigger companies, and maybe it's more value.
Well, exactly. So that's what happens with inbound. You don't control who comes, but then you have to pay a lot of attention to who's showing up, right? Maybe not even, so it was important for us to see who was engaging us in conversations. Again, because we were using Drift, and Drift, we can have a large company talk to us and say like, okay, maybe not buy, but they're engaging with us. And then we had large companies buy. It was funny what we were calling enterprise deals at the time, right? Because they were just slightly larger. But it was because the kind of companies that would come in, we talked to companies like, ADP, Red Hat, IBM, it's just like, we had Okta, just so many companies would just come in and say like, I want to buy large companies too, right? ServiceNow, came in early and talked to us. And so it's like, it was like for us to pay close attention to the cohorts of the customers that were coming, and then realizing where we're meeting their needs, right?